Hi, everybody. Karen Jones here, pointofme.com. We've got Nate Kent who's in the car,
That's right.
giving you a bird's eye view of the countryside of Korea.
I can do that if you want, yes. I'm all strapped in. We're going to be safe here.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to actually mute you because because we keep going back and forth. So I'm going to mute you for a little bit, and then you can unmute yourself when you're ready, or I'll unmute you, whatever works. Okay? So anybody, if you've got any questions, you can go to my weekly Yummy Money webinar Facebook group and ask your questions, or I believe there's a Q&A on the side here that you can jump in and ask a question if you'd like, if I see it, because I'm still new to how to use that. But beyond the learning curve, I welcome you to today's Yummy Money webinar, where we're getting close to the end of the book, so I'm very excited about it. I'm really happy that Nate can be with us again today. Hi, Nate again. And so we're going to talk about. I purposely chose this question: what is a celebration of life, for today's show? Because it's so interesting how when we talk about celebrating life, we usually think about death. And in fact, that question was a provocation. I wanted to provoke people, because people, when they see that, they're like, oh, what does that mean? Does that mean like a celebration of someone's life? It's a service? It's a ceremony? No, it's your day-to-day life. It's how you live your life day-to-day. That's what I'm talking about today. So first of all, we're going to start out with gratitude. Major gratitude to Nate Kent for joining me again. He's been my buddy here in South Korea on the show. I'm so happy that he can join me every week. He can join me for as long as I'm here. And even when I'm back in Vegas, if you'd like to join me, that would be awesome. Okay, so we're going to get to you in a minute. First, that's the first thing I'm grateful for. The other thing that I'm grateful for is learning how to color my hair without any help from anybody. I know that sounds really crazy, a crazy thing to talk about on the air, but trust me, it is a wonderful thing. And the next thing I'm grateful for is my iPad, which has all these great apps that I get to play with and discover great other ways to be creative, because I love being creative and discovering ways to play with colors and fonts. And I know I'm a little bit weird. What can I say? I'm part of that humanoid, quote-unquote, family. Another thing I'm grateful for is the sunshine and the springtime here in Seoul, even though I'm not so happy about the yellow dust that I had to wear a mask for, if you've seen my page recently. Yeah, and I was just talking to Kent, to Nate about that, sorry. Nate, you want to talk a little bit more about that wonderful yellow dust? I'm going to unmute you here. Let's see if we can unmute you. No, I can't do it. Come on. Can you unmute yourself? Yes? Are you there? Wonky.
Oh, not good.
There you are.
All right. Yeah, it's something that happens every year, and it's been getting worse the last couple of years. But yeah, coming over from sort of northern China, Mongolia area, they bring in a lot of dust coming in from the deserts, and then there's been quite a bit of deforestation and such. And so, yeah, it comes across around this time every year, but it has been getting worse for the last couple of years. It's been longer this year than I remember, but yeah, it's called yellow dust just because that's the visible part that you see, and it covers anything you leave outside. Like, you don't leave your windows open because it's pretty nasty. But this year it's also become more noticeable as far as like affecting people coughing a lot, sneezing, wearing a lot more masks. And in the news, it's been worse this year than in recent years. So yeah, that's what you're talking about, and in fact, you're a singer, so it really affects you. You wear that mask, Karen.
Yes, I have my mask ready to go when I go outside, and I'm ready to, like, they have them everywhere. You can buy them in local 7-Elevens, and they have ear, nose, and throat specialists, because a lot of people have respiratory issues because of this yellow dust. So it's not such a pretty thing. It's seasonal, but I believe that the season is extending. So it's lasting a lot longer and coming in a lot stronger. And then, of course, it brings in a lot of that nasty industrial pollution from China as well.
Right. That's been, I think, the big change over the last couple of years has been, the industrial pollution and a lot of the micro whatever gets in the air, and it's messy. So
yeah. So make sure you cover yourself too, because you've been here a long time. It's you know, I know your body's probably adjusted to it, but pock and pod, everything that is in your body, and blah blah. Yeah, everybody who doesn't know what pock and pod is, I'm not speaking a foreign language. I'm not. This is not Mork and Mindy. This is Nate and Karen just having a chat about keeping yourself, being aware. Let's put it that way. This is all about being more and more aware. It's about money, but money is also connected to being more aware. And the more aware you are, the more money you're probably going to generate in your life. So that's my motto: be more and more aware. All right. Okay, great. So, gratitude. Anything that you'd like to chime in on your gratitude for today, Nate?
Well, I would say, am I there? I would say this, finding this app in time to get on here with you, because I was a little bit panicked. I was like, oh, I can't get home in time to do this. And I've been having so much fun. And so, yeah, basically having, like, within 10 minutes, downloading an app, getting lined up, getting signed up, and bam, here I am. So that's it.
Chego Joyo.
Yeah.
And Nate taught me that phrase.
Yeah. So, yeah, just so many things to be grateful for, and I always, well, I tend to get a little bit emotional when I start to think of all the things I have to be grateful for. So I'm just gonna stop with Google Hangouts app, and then that's it. Back to you.
Okay. Okay, sweetie. So that's an important thing, because otherwise we wouldn't have Nate's beautiful face here chatting with us. So I'm gonna jump in right away. I'm gonna mute you again. I'm gonna jump in right away to the book, because it's a short read today, and then we're going to really just talk about what the book is talking about here. What is it that, what are you celebrating daily? And are you celebrating, are you going into the matrix complaint world? Let me complain about this, and let me complain about that, and oh my goodness gracious. I have a few friends who fall into that category. I try not to talk to them for too long, because talk about a downer, they just like go on and on. It's like, could we talk about what's right about this that you're not willing to look at right now, instead of looking at everything that's wrong? And if this sounds like you, sometimes you don't see yourself doing that, but if every conversation you have starts with complaining, then you're not really celebrating life at all. Just a little, red flag should be going up in your universe, hopefully, and we can start to shift and change that. So let's go to our screen share and read. We only have a couple of chapters left in our book. Oh, I'll show you guys the book again later. The book is called Money Isn't the Problem You Are by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dain Heer. It's a great book. I recommend it, and otherwise just rewatch all of my whole series on on my weekly Yummy Money webinar. That's a tongue twister. Okay, so let's get started. What if you celebrated your life every day? If you don't celebrate your life, if you don't make your life a celebration, if you create your life so it's about the obligation, the work, the trauma, the drama, the upset, and the intrigue, what will show up in your life? Voila, more of the same. But if you begin to create your life as a celebration, different possibilities will show up. When my ex-wife and I got divorced, I moved out of our house, and I took very little with me. I left with one set of good china out of 5, one set of sterling silver flatware out of 5, one frying pan, one spatula, one spoon, and the carving set that had belonged to my father. I took a set of old dishes, the ones that my ex-wife didn't like, that had chips in all of them, a couple of funky old glasses that nobody wanted, and a couple of coffee mugs that were uglier than sin. That was the sum total of my kitchenware. Those were the things I moved into my new place. I put the good china away for the celebrations and the dinner parties I would give someday. I'm sure I was going to do service for 16 on my tiny round table, right? And I put all the ugly old stuff I had brought into my kitchen cupboard. Then one day I looked at it and I said, wait a minute, I'm saving this stuff for a celebration, and I am living like a pauper. Whose life am I living anyway? Mine? I want my life to be a celebration. I got out all the good china, and I said, if I break a cereal bowl in the morning when I eat my breakfast, it will cost me $38 to replace it. But who cares? My plates, if I break them, cost $16 a piece. So what? I'll use the Georgian sterling silver flatware. My spoons cost $360 a piece. I'm worth it. That is the key phrase, ladies and gentlemen. I'm worth it. I went out and I bought crystal glasses to drink out of. No more of those thick old glasses that wouldn't break even if you threw them on the floor. I wanted something that when I knocked it over by accident went crash. Life needs to be a celebration. If you aren't celebrating your life, you're not living. Life should be an orgasmic experience every day. Life should be an orgasmic experience every day. I want that to sink in a little bit more. You should live with what you've got to put up with, what you've got to do, and what's left over. Are you going to spend your life as a package of leftovers? Or are you going to create yourself as a celebration? I have champagne, not cheap shit champagne, but good champagne. At least 5 bottles in my refrigerator at all times. Sometimes I have champagne and pie for dinner, just because I can. If you make your life a celebration, if you look for the joy of life instead of the doldrums, you'll create a whole different reality. Isn't that what you really would like to have? Today ought to be the best day of your life. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. That was a commercial, sorry. When I went to my brother-in-law's 40th birthday party, all the men were in the living room talking about how the best time of their lives was when they were 18 and in high school and they had cool cars and were jocks. And all the women were in the kitchen talking about how the best time in their lives was when their babies were born. When it was my turn to talk, they asked me, when was the best time of your life? I said, today, and if it isn't, I'm blowing my fucking brains out. I was not very popular after that. Today ought to be the best day of your life. If today isn't the best day of your life, why the hell are you alive? Just for today, my life will be a celebration. Remind yourself every day to make your life a celebration. Look for the joy of life. Every morning say, just for today, my life will be a celebration. Just for today, my life will be a celebration. Just for today, my life will be a celebration. And watch for the new possibilities that will show up. Ask for the greatness of your life. Ask and ye shall receive is one of the truths in the Bible. Ask and ye shall receive is one of the truths, ladies and gentlemen. Use it. So ask. So what are you going to ask for? The greatness of you? If you ask for the greatness of you to show up, then all kinds of other things will come along with it. Ask for the greatness of your life. Ask for the joy and the celebration of your life. Don't just ask for money, because money doesn't have anything to do with the greatness of your life. You do. If you ask for the greatness of your life, if you ask for the greatness of who you are, and if you ask for your life to be a celebration, then you're going to have a different possibility. If you only ask for money, nothing's going to show up, because money is not the energy. Money is only the vehicle you use to get there. Ask for the greatness of you. If you have the courage to ask, you can receive. When all is said and done, what do you really have? Recently, some Gulf Coast hurricane survivors were being interviewed on television. The interviewer asked a guy whose home had been destroyed, how do you feel about the hurricane? And the man said, well, you know, I moved down here to the Gulf Coast and I brought all my worldly possessions, all my family photos, everything I thought was valuable to me. And now all I have is a slab. Everything I owned blew away in the wind. But you know what? I still have me. The same thing happened after a big earthquake in California. An interviewer on television asked a guy, how do you feel about the earthquake? And the man said, my wife and I were in the bedroom on the 3rd floor of our condo. I was sound asleep. I had no clothes on. All of a sudden there was a big shake, and suddenly I was on the ground. I didn't know where anything was, and there next to me were a pair of shorts, so I put them on. My wife found her robe lying next to her. The only other thing we managed to find was a picture of my wife when we got married. We have no idea where our clothes are. We have no idea where anything is. We can't find the thing. But you know what? We still have each other. When all is said and done, what do you really have? You. You're the starting point of your life. You're the starting point for the creation of your money, your wealth, your power, and everything else. Regardless of what the disaster is, regardless of what goes away or is lost, you will always have you. You're the starting point for everything that happens in your life. Okay, so, wow, that was a pretty intense chapter. Talk about the celebration of life. Nate, do you have anything you would like to talk about, to say about any of that?
A couple things stand out, and it kind of was in two parts to me. Like the first part was like having a celebration of your life, and the second part is realizing that you have you, and that even if everything else that you consider to identify with or consider as the definition of you goes away, you still have you. So like I've heard people that have built a business from the ground up, and they say like, even if everything went away, I could still do it again tomorrow because I still have myself. Like I'm the valuable product, right? And so in terms of like building something or creating something or creating money, because we're talking about money, is that you're it. Like you are the valuable product, and that's what you're creating is from yourself. So that's not, I skipped over the celebration part, which also, also a big part, but that's kind of what sprung to mind when you said that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because it all starts with you. Because this is your point of view, coming back to point of me, it's from your eyes that this reality that you see in front of you is created. It's your television show. It's your movie, and you're the director. So if you don't recognize how important you are in the maneuvering of your life, then of course you're not gonna reap the benefits of your celebration, because you won't celebrate, because you're constantly blaming somebody else, or you're getting angry at somebody else for whatever's going on in your movie, when in actuality you are the director, and it's all of what you think about. It's your points of view, it's your judgments, it's your beliefs, whatever you want to call it. It's your reasoning, it's your justifications, it's the answers to life that you have decided created, that are creating what's not showing up in your life. What you want to show up in your life still has to come from you, because if you don't ask for what you'd like, the asking you shall receive truly is one of my all-time favorite points of view about life. It's the one thing in church that kind of stands out. Because when I would go to church, I'd fall asleep. But when that came up, I'd be like, "Ask and you shall receive." Really? Does that really work? Well, I'm going to tell you something, people. If you don't work the question, then you won't find out, will you? Right? Right? So
that's 100%. And the other thing is also, like we talked about being aware at the beginning, like being aware of what you are asking for. Like sometimes you think you're asking for things that you're not, and stuff shows up that you don't want, and you actually were asking for that. You just weren't aware of how you asked the question. You weren't aware, you're like, okay, like I'd like a new job. Well, that means you got fired from your old job. You're like, well, I wasn't asking to be fired. Well, yeah, you need to be more specific with your question. Like you need to be aware of how you're asking for things and what you're asking for, because sometimes you do get what you asked for, but it's surrounded by a bunch of stuff you were unaware you were asking for, and so you don't think it works, but actually it totally works. So yeah, be aware of your questions, because you do get what you ask for.
Exactly. And a lot of people, they have a lot of judgments. Once again, judgments really are the walls of your life. The more judgments that you have, the more you're not gonna get what you're really asking for. Because if you have judgments, let's say I would like to be rich, and you have judgments about people who are rich, then you're not gonna create a lot of wealth in your life. Because if you're looking at someone who has a Maserati, or someone who, I remember walking to the parking lot the other day here at the Park Hyatt, which is, of course, is a 5-star hotel, so you have a lot of very wealthy people that stay here, and there are cars that are like, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I like Maseratis, Mercedes, and then they have a Samsung car, for those of you in America who've never seen one, and they're gorgeous, and they're just like, they just ooze luxury. Okay, and then just walking in that atmosphere, it's like, wow, this is just really cool. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh my God, this is disgusting. This is too much money. You know, there are people who are starving in the world, and so you have these extremes, and people don't know how to justify, well, where do I fit in all of that? And in fact, a lot of people fall right into the middle because they don't want to be too rich and they don't want to be poor. So, but if you're in the middle, you're still wanting to have more. But then again, you don't have more because you have judgments about being rich. So this is just to ask you to be much more aware of where your judgments are, because it's your judgments that are not creating that perfect relationship. It's your judgments that are not giving you the life that you would like to see, the movie that you would like to have in front of you, right? So this is a constant what's the word, adventure in creating more and more of what you would like to create and getting rid of those limitations as you go along. So, wow, I didn't realize I had a limited point of view about this or that. You know what I'm talking about, Nate?
I do indeed. And the one thing, especially as you were talking about the Park Hyatt, because I've been there, and it's the kind of place where you don't look at the price when you order something because you just don't want to know. Like, I went in there and I was like, all right, I'm here. I'm just going to order the cocktail I want and then pay it at the end, whatever it is. And that's what I did. But as you said, you kind of emphasized a little bit earlier with the I'm worth it. And you say, like, this is, it's a celebration of yourself. And instead of always, always like caring about the price and sort of communicating to the universe that you're a discount person or you're a cheap price. Like, I mean, you have to be smart with your money, obviously, but you don't, like, having, for example, like a nice pair of sheets, like, yeah, you're worth it. Like, treat yourself to something that is going to nurture you and going to contribute to you. And, instead of always going for the cheap option, because then it just cheapens your life in general and also communicates that you don't feel that you're worth it.
Right, exactly, because if you have decided that someone else is the center of your universe, that you're not worth it, that they're worth it, that you focus everything on them, then you both lose. Because you both have to recognize, in a relationship, in life, in a business relationship, with people in general, you have to recognize your own value. You have to know that you are worth beautiful sheets. If there's something that you really, really desire, and you're like, well, I can't really afford it, well, I bet if you really, if you paid a little bit every month, eventually you would be able to have whatever you truly would desire. But you have to be willing to ask for it, and you have to be willing to receive it. There's that other part. That's the other bugaboo, right? Are you willing to receive it? If you have a judgment, once again, those judgments are invisible walls that prevent you from receiving, okay? But if you aren't celebrating you every day, if you aren't celebrating life in some way, like I have this little candy that I have for my throat for whatever the yellow dust, and it's got ginger in it, and it's it's got sugar, I'm sure it's corn syrup, and it's like there are certain things that I know about it in my mind, I have a judgment about, but I'm like, you know what, this is fun, it tastes great, I love it right before I sing, and Pock and Pod all of that. So you can use Pock and Pod to get rid of those judgments, to wipe the slate clean, and keep doing it, and keep, forget that, have that glass of wine, have that dessert, order that dessert, for crying out loud, enjoy your life, celebrate yourself, celebrate your life, don't live in a world of punishment as if you're punishing yourself for being alive, honor yourself, love yourself. How do you love yourself? By celebrating you, not getting to the celebrating, the celebration of life as you're dead. In this reality, in this matrix reality, the celebration of life is a ceremony for your death. Now, how crazy is that? How absolutely insane, okay? Ask for what you'd like. You are worth it. You are the valuable product. Go for it, okay? So Is there anything else, Nate, that you wanted to add to that?
Just so many things, but this is such a great topic, and also two things were going to be if you do have the judgment about what you're eating or drinking, the judgment and the guilt and the shame, whatever you lock into your body, is going to be more damaging than actually whatever you've eaten. Like, so you have a little too much corn syrup. I mean, that's not great, but it's going to be not as bad as the guilt you carry for 3 days about it, right? And the other thing is, when you talk about, like, I'm worth it, one of the most fun things that I've heard Steve Bowman say is, he's like, they can't afford me. Like, how awesome is it to say, like, not just I'm worth it, but like because you talked about not affording cheap stuff for yourself, but also saying, like, people can't afford me. Like, I'm expensive. I'm an expensive product.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, I have actually said that to a couple of venues that wanted to hire me, and I was like, I really think you've got a nice club, but I'm sorry, you really can't afford me. You know, it's just not in your range, and it took me a while to get to that, and I have to thank Access Consciousness once again. Or the book that we've been reading from is Money Isn't the Problem, You Are, by Gary Douglas and Dain Heer, Dr. Dain Heer. You can find them online, accessconsciousness.com, and you can get these books on accessconsciousness.com. You can also go to my website, pointofviewpointofme.com, and you can. There is a section there for Access Consciousness in my menu, if you'd like to go from my website. Either way, there's the whole series. You can go to Point of View, Point of Me on YouTube, and you can get the whole series around this book. There, I think this is number 15, so I think we have one more that will cover this book, and then I'll be changing. I'll be going into another book. I haven't decided what that is yet. Nate, do you have to get ready to go, sweetie? I see you moving around. Let me turn you up.
Yeah, we just arrived. I'm sorry, I got to bail.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us.
I missed the bun dance again. I'm so happy.
Oh, it's okay. You can do the bun dance next time.
All right. Anyway, thank you so much. All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Ciao, babe. Ciao.
Ciao.
So, yes, that was Nate Kent, and here he goes. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for joining us. I do want to remind you of a few things. As usual, the money seed. We basically have been nurturing your money seed, all right? And no matter how much or what you've bought about money, meaning all the ideas, we buy judgments, we buy beliefs about money, most of which we bought from our parents by a certain age, okay? So we want to try and pock and pod, and that's my father's point of view, pock and pod that, that's my mother's point of view, pock and pod that, so that you can have a clear slate and create from choice instead of going from automatic response systems that you were raised with, okay? Like the idea that you can never make more money than your dad because it would be disrespectful, or you can never make more money than your mom because it would be disrespectful, that you can't have more money than the rest of your family because it would be disrespectful. So there's a lot of points of view or judgments that we have in the back of our head that we don't even know that we have. Okay, so everything that is, would you be willing to destroy and uncreate it? Great. Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. That is the clearing statement. You can find it under theclearingstatement.com. And that will explain what that is. But basically, it's just like a magic phrase that clears the energy. And I don't know how it totally works, but it works because I use it all the time. All right. So here are some great questions to use every day. How does it get any better than this? In the worst of times and in the best of times. The universe has very big ears. And when you say, how does it get any better than this? Things will get better. But you have to ask the questions for them to work. Asking you shall receive. Works if you work it. And what else is possible? When you run into a wall and you think that this is the end, oh my God, this is horrible, and you go into total drama. And I know that sometimes it can be painful. It just feels like your world is going to fall apart. It's not. You ask what else is possible. Possibilities, infinite possibilities. There are always possibilities, even when it seems that you're in a no-choice universe. You have to believe me. You have to trust me in what I'm saying. If you don't ask the question, though, you will stay in the answer. And what does an answer do? It defines. And when you define something, you stay in that definition, and you cannot see the other possibilities because you have on your blinders called judgments, definitions, conclusions, and computations. Because you think that if you can figure it out, then that must be the right answer. That is incorrect. It is only one possibility. So choose, the awareness will come, okay? So no matter how much or what you bought about money, the seed works. You got to work the seed, though. It starts wherever you are and requires only that you water it daily with questions that call the energy to you. Could anything resist your willingness to receive money if you nurtured it every day? What is required to nurture your money seed today? Okay, so what energy, space, and consciousness can you be that would allow you to have more money than God with total ease? How's that? I know that talk about, you know, really like, are you kidding me? More money than God? So everything that is times a godzillion. Would you be willing to destroy and uncreate that, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot, puck, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, here's a good one. What's it going to take for you to be acoustically, vibrationally compatible with gold, silver, money, and anything else that's worth a lot of money? Everything doesn't allow that to show up times a godzillion. Will you destroy and uncreate it all? Great. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot, puck, shorts, boys, and beyond. So I've got these questions. I'm just running through them to see what else I can leave with you that you can use. Now, I've given you some questions before, but I want to give you one of the bigger questions. No, that's not it. Let's go over here. No, I can't find her. Okay, that was the one I asked before. Let's see if we got another one. All right, so here we go. This is to conclude about celebration. This is a great one. So many of you make it about, I will have a life when I have $1 million or whatever, because we use that as the only way that life will change. Unfortunately, we'll choose tragic events to change instead of really making the change before a tragic event. Tragic events usually are the push, and everywhere that you bought that the only way that you can truly change, the only way that you can have greater clarity in life, the only way that you can truly receive is by having something terrible happen to you or your family. Would you destroy and uncreate that and stop creating it, please? And revoke, rescind, recant, reclaim, renounce, denounce, destroy and uncreate that times a godzillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, all nine, pot, pock, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Okay, so instead of I am living today, my priority is happiness. Okay, my priority is consciousness. My priority is generosity of spirit. My priority is living every moment from a total celebration. Can you do that? Would you do that for me? Live every moment from a total celebration. Wake up. Just for today, I'm going to celebrate me and my life. Okay? So you've been given a lot of tools today. How does it get any better than that? Okay, so remember, gratitude every day. Wake up with gratitude. Go to sleep with gratitude. Mantra, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. If you say that every day, if you say that 10 times in the morning, 10 times in the evening, don't take medication, don't take drugs. Just say all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory in the morning, 10 times, and at night. And I promise you that life will be easier. Doesn't mean that you won't have to go over bumps and hurdles here and there, but it means that you'll get through them more easily. Okay? Give it a try. Next, 10% to the church of you. Every dollar that you make, every euro that you make, whatever it is it may be, 10% goes to the church of you. Put it away. Don't spend it. And then your $5 or $10 or $20, whatever you want to use, you want to take a little bit of money and hide it somewhere in some public place and let someone find it. And remember that there is an abundance in the universe, that there is infinite abundance. Okay, that is a great way to keep money flowing in your life. I promise you, if you keep doing this, you will always have money. Okay, next, the money game. Money game. You start out with $1,000. The first day, every day, add $1,000. Every day, add $1,000. When you have this money game on that first day, what are you going to do with that first $1,000? Where is it going? Okay, you look for material things that you would buy, but then you would like to look at where else could you put this money that could create greater change, greater awareness, greater consciousness on this planet. Imagine where that money could go, because this is going to blow your paradigms around what it means to have a lot of money. So you kind of like be thinking like a Trump or I don't know, Tony Robbins, or someone who has just an outrageous amount of money. It starts to get you to think about, if you had that kind of money, what would you really do with it? Okay, once you've got all your material stuff, what do you do with it? It's a great game, money game. Okay, the next thing I wanted to let you guys know, there's a Dancing with Riches class being given in Las Vegas, May 28th. And then there's a 3-day body class, the whole Memorial Day weekend this year, 2015. If you're wanting to change your life, you're wanting to get greater awareness with your body, going through some physical issues, this is the class. Both of these classes are great, and they will literally change your life. Okay? So come to Vegas, get in touch with me. You can write me at Karen@pointofview.com, or you can go to accessconsciousness.com website and look up Cass Thomas. She is the facilitator. She is one of my best friends, and she will be facilitating. I'm going to be there, and I'll get to meet you in person. It's going to be a great time. So you can go to pointofview.com and just type in body class, 3-day body class. You can type in Dancing with Riches. I'm going to be writing a blog about that. And that's all about creating more money as well. So if you are into getting rid of your limitations and creating more money, then please join us. I look forward to meeting you in person. All right, so there you have it. We're going to do the abundance, the money dance, the abundance. So get ready, because here it comes. You got it in the mail. It's a letter. It's unexpected. And it's for how much? Just do that money dance, everybody. Come on, abundance, abundance. Money come, 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 money come. All right, we'll see you next week on my weekly Yummy Money webinar. It's been a fabulous, fabulous day. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, you're worth it. Be the greatness that you truly be. Ciao. Just take it. Woo! Let's paint the town. We'll shut it.